The American Sim Racing Club, home of the fastest growing fixed setup league on the server, the Dirt Pro Late Model Series, presented by Horsepower Happenings. Every Sunday night on the Turn 3 Racing Network, watch the server's best battle for more than 50 laps at some of the nation's most grueling tracks. From the Bristol Dirt to the Charlotte Dirt Track, Kern County to Fairbury, over 24 drivers a week put it on the line for a shot at over $600 in the championship points fund. Join us every Sunday night at 9:30 for the ASRC Dirt Pro Late Model Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show tonight. We got a good one here. It is the recap of the Living Legends race number 8 from the Talladega Super Speedway. Tonight we have 17 cars here taking the green flag, 18 on the property, one having to go home due to mechanical issues here in qualifying. As we wrap up qualifying here, Greg Wellen and the 95 machine picking up the quick time here as we get cars pushed to the front stretch here and we get ready to rock and roll for 70 laps. Tonight is the distance here for these boys, and I tell you what, it's gonna be a good one here as we get cars on the starting grid. We're gonna run through tonight's starting order. Like I mentioned before, folks, Greg Wellen in the 95 machine will start on the pole, starting to his outside, best qualifying yet this season so far for this kid. It is Caleb Modulewski in the 053 in row number 2. We have the 87 machine of Noah Carter with it to his outside, the 86 of Stephen Hoffman. Row number 3, or starting in that 5th position, we go to the 18. That is Devin McDonald, and to his outside, he makes a return back to the series, trying to add another Talladega win to the tally. It is Tim Rogers. Then starting MP number 7, we look at the 38 machine. That is Dave Payton here with the K&N on the car. To his outside, the number 1 Sunoco machine. It is Tanner Tallarico. Then we head to P number 9. That is being occupied by the 71 car of Brett Hahn. Rounding out the top 10 here for the starting order will be the 55 machine of Scott Negus. Then we head to 11th. That is the 17 machine, or 66 on the car. That is Justice Young. Then starting in 12th will be the 25 machine of Nick Fleury. 13th will be the 75 machine. That is Justin Callahan with the STP Richard Petty scheme. To his outside will be the 35 of Hayden Swank, our current points leader, starting deep in the field here tonight. Then back in 15th, we have the Deuce. That is John DeMeester in the 2 here, rolling off 15th. To his outside will be the 8 machine. To his outside will be the 51 machine of Ron Hart. Then starting shotgun on the field to wrap up the 17 cars that started here tonight will be the number 8 of Kyle Munson. So that would do it here for the starting order here for 75 laps. A long race here, so a lot to keep in mind, a lot of action on the track. As of course, limited tire sets, limited fuel, so we'll see some cars coming down a lot down pit road. Strategy on everyone's mind. But first, we gotta get these cats rolling here as we come off of turn 4. A long way to go to the start-finish line. Of course, the start-finish line after the Tri-Oval here at Talladega, so that's going to provide some extra excitement. Could that be the determining factor? Who wins tonight? We'll have to stay tuned and wait. As the pace car heads down pit road, we take a look at the 95 machine leading the field to green. Greg Wellen on the loud pedal here. Through the gears he goes. We go green flag here at Talladega, and we start to turn the mind loose. Wellen away with a great start over the rest of the field. Everyone else go and get sorted and try and see where they slot in. Already single filed out for the most part here early. So Greg Wellen now followed by Noah Carter, Caleb Modulewski 3rd, Stephen Hoffman 4th, Devin McDonald 5th, as it's a long line of cars here first car to duck on out. Tim Rogers going to the 18 of Devin McDonald. That moves McDonald, the only car on the top side here. We jump on board the roof of Tim Rogers here, and so far so good as we go to complete lap number 1 here in the books of the 70. Greg Willen's going to pick up his first lap led here at ASRC out in front of Noah Carter. Both those cars going to the top side. This is now allowing Caleb Modulewski to lead the inside line here tonight. We take a look at the scoring here on the left side of our screen as it is very close. One car with trouble. That's our leader, Greg Wellen. He gets a piece of the wall. That will bring out our first yellow flag here of the night as Wellen goes on around. Looks like his night might come to a early end. Not sure if I think he got some help from Noah Carter, but tough break to our pole sitter out of this race very early here tonight, as it looks like the rest of the field will come on by and pick up the pace car. Caleb Modulewski now takes over the point, so Modulewski picking up his first laps led now of ASRC as we woe up the field and get him under yellow. Early yellow flag. Hopefully this isn't a trend here going on forwards, but a tough break here for a few drivers. It looks like everyone else though coming away with not too much damage, if at all. It looks like 18 machine Dev McDonald a little bit of damage on that car, but could have been a lot worse here tonight at Talladega. So with a yellow flag here early, folks, we're gonna go to commercial break. On the other side, we'll pick up hopefully a restart here as we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, folks.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
We come back to the biggest track on the schedule, Talladega Superspeedway, as we get ready to go back green flag racing action. It looks like Nick Fleury staying out, so the rest of the field coming in, topping on off. Everyone has fuel in mind as we'll have a single file restart. No cars going a lap down. Only one would be the 95, but he has since called it a day as now Nick Fleury in the 25 machine leading the field to green. He jumps on the loud pedal. He goes through the gearbox here tonight, and we go back to turning these cars up. And I tell you what, folks, over 200 miles an hour, these things will get going here tonight, as these things, of course, unrestricted and have as much power as you could possibly give them. Of course, not too aerodynamic, But that doesn't matter to these cars. These things are all go and no stop. So Fleury out in front, but Modulewski trying to take that lead here quick. 3 wide here early tonight, as it looks like Stephen Hoffman gets stuck in the middle. Now Dave Payton will go to the middle of the speedway. Here comes Ron Hart making a charge through the field. He's now in the trying to make his way up into the top 5. He currently sits 7th, maybe 6th if he can get around that 38 machine. So these guys racing like it's the last 5 laps here already, as we see 3 wide for the race lead, maybe, as it looks like Noah Carter will let Nick Fleury on in. So these guys racing hard. Everyone wants those 5 bonus points for leading a lap here tonight. They head down the backstretch here, and so far still racing hard as Stephen Hoffman looks to the inside of Noah Carter. He'll think better of it, get out of the throttle, but man, some crazy racing here early. Looks like Fleury will go up, block Modulewski. Now Fleury stuck in the middle. He gets picked up by Ron Hart. Hart now trying to find an opening as we go to turn 1 and contact here. Uh-oh, here we go, folks. It's the big one as one car almost up and over. They continue to pile on in as this will be a lot of cars here tonight. A lot of cars down in the grass with some heavy damage. And that started with contact between, I believe, Nick Fleury and Ron Hart. So looks like most cars able to get rolling. One car, though, 75 machine, Justin Callahan, already on the tow hook. So that was our first big one here tonight, coming on lap 8. And I believe that involved right around half the field walking away with some damage. Nick Fleury little, Tanner Tallarico mostly clean, a little to the back end. Hayden Swank looking pretty clean as well. Ron Hart, a lot of front end damage. Deb McDonald, right side damage. Brett Hahn, extensive front end damage. John DeMeester, it looks like, looking pretty clean. Maybe a little bit of right side, maybe rear damage to the 2. And Scott Negus had some front end damage. You can see the damage to the right front as Negus will take that thing to pit road. Tim Rogers looks like also calling a night as well. So the big one strikes here early at Talladega. Once again, under yellow flag conditions, a lot of cleanup going on. So we'll head back to commercial break. Don't go anywhere, folks.
The American Sim Racing Club, home of the fastest growing fixed setup league on the server, the Dirt Pro Late Model Series, presented by Horsepower Happenings. Every Sunday night on the Turn 3 Racing Network, watch the server's best battle for more than 50 laps at some of the nation's most grueling tracks. From the Bristol Dirt to the Charlotte Dirt Track, Kern County to Fairbury, over 24 drivers a week put it on the line for a shot at over $600 in the championship points fund. Join us every Sunday night at 9:30 for the ASRC Dirt Pro Late Model Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
All right, folks, we come back here to Talladega with the iRacing pace car ducking off to pit road, trying to get you as much green flag racing action as we can. Looks like Noah Carter will be out front leading the field to green. We have our first car 1 lap down. That's the 55 machine of Scott Negus. He will try and race to get his lap back, but you see the damage to the car as Noah Carter on the loud pedal here. We turn him back loose here on lap number 12. So trying to go back green flag racing, especially with that big one. I think these drivers gonna take a step back here, gonna try and collect their emotions. I don't think we'll see as aggressive driving here as we saw in the start, because that affected a lot of race cars. As you can see, they're still out here with some damage, trying to do what they can, scavenge any sort of good finishing position if they can. Out in front, Noah Carter, Dave Payton trying to take the lead for the first time here tonight. Payton looks like doesn't quite have as big of a run as he thought. Payton will slot back into line, and look at this guy, Justice Young, up here now duking it out inside the top 5. Same with the guy that started shotgun on the field tonight, already on lap number 13. Kyle Munson finds himself in the top 5 here. So still a lot of racing to go, so don't want to make any sort of early bold predictions, but man, some big time shakeups here early, especially with the cars with damage. And you can see a few of them without their nose cones. One Ron Hart, the other Brett Hahn out here with no front bumper. They couldn't tape one on quick enough under those repairs, so they sit out there and hopefully stay in the draft. Luckily, these things are such bricks through the air that, you know, they create a lot of wake, able to keep with the field, but if they have any sort of engine damage, you know, they could easily lose the draft here tonight. So lap 14 in the book. Negus currently in the pack, but no wave rounds. Wave rounds weren't a thing back in 1987, so Negus gonna have to try and get out in front of this pack to get the lap back if he can. He's currently the only car one lap down at the moment. But out in front, Dave Payton has taken over the race lead, so Payton looking to lead his first laps here tonight. But Noah Carter holding strong on the top side by himself. Payton having some help. Now Carter will get some help as Kyle Munson jumps to the top side. So will it be too late? It's going to be a photo finish to lead this lap, and it looks like, I think Noah Carter just got it. So Carter leading another lap at the moment here early tonight. I believe Carter has the most laps led. We'll see if it stays that way, as now Kyle Munson trying to get around Dave Payton on the top side. One car in the wall there a little bit. Looks like Ron Hart just kissing it off of turn number 2. And that's a thing, especially with these 87s, people don't realize, especially at these speeds that iRacing allows in kind of the new style of driving that drivers know. You got to be really careful with the handling of these race cars. These tires fall off a ton, and it gets very loose on entry if you overdrive it, and then very, very tight, especially with some aero push coming off these corners. So drivers gonna have to keep that in mind, that they don't pound the wall, let's say coming off of turn number 2 or turn number 4. Take a look here at the 25 machine, Nick Fleury. Oh, just as I say that, Fleury gets a piece of the wall. He gets help. Big hit to the inside wall for Fleury. As I was just warning people about it, Fleury now heavy damage to that 25 machine. His night's probably over, because he did spin off the racing surface. We say we stay green flag racing, so interesting call there as Fleury makes big time contact to that wall. He's hoping for a yellow flag to get the repairs done, but that car probably pretty wounded, as the outside wall wasn't too big of a hit, but man, he hit that inside wall a ton here tonight. Out in front, battle for the race lead. Kyle Munson trying to go from last on the grid to the lead, as Munson got a little bit tight. And you can see the handling of these race cars really starting to go away. These cars getting dangerously close to each other on corner exit and to the wall if you're on that top side. So Noah Carter able to get a little bit of a gap, and that's the thing too. You can drive away or really reel someone back in, all depending on how you take care of these tires and what kind of race pace you're trying to aim for. As we see now Kyle Munson get a big run through the tribal. He goes to the inside of Noah Carter. He's trying to take the race lead away, and he does that here on lap number 18. So Kyle Munson goes from back of the grid to the lead, but now Noah Carter has a big run on the outside. He gets some help from Dave Payne, who will go right to the back bumper of the 87 machine, almost clears both of them, and that he does, as Payne now goes back into second place. So Carter back out in front. Carter might be one of the cars to beat here tonight, as one car big time in the wall. That's Scott Negus. Negus getting tight off of turn number 4. He will clobber the outside wall. Now loses a handful of spots, but not actual racing position, as Negus still sits one lap down here at the moment. So we take a look here back at the front. Kyle Munson still trying to take over the race lead here tonight. Man, this guy's still in this fight. Justice Young looking for a career night here tonight at Talladega. He currently sits P number 5 and looking maybe for some more. So top 6 all kind of a little bit of a breakaway here. They're in their own little pack, racing pretty hard. The rest of the cars behind single filed out, just trying to run laps here tonight. Lap number 20 completed at the line, and once again Noah Carter able to carry that momentum through the tri-oval on the top side, leading yet another lap here tonight. Lead pack comes off at turn number 2 here, and looks like everyone's still trying to figure out what their car likes. Big push from Stephen Hoffman. That'll push Dave Payton clear, and almost Hoffman into turn number 3. So Stephen Hoffman trying to make his way up through the field. One car a little bit tight there. Kyle Munson having to chase that 8 car all the way up the speedway. So it looks like this time by, it should be Dave Payton leading the lap at the line. Noah Carter almost got it once again there. So some great racing out in front. Group number 2 a little bit more hectic here as we get some cars jumping out of line, but it looks like most everyone able to keep their car going in the right direction here as we jump on board with Stephen Hoffman pushing our race leader Dave Payton here. And of course, some wicked speeds for these 87 cars at Talladega. Talladega, of course, a lot wider than Daytona, so you know we may see some more 3-wide racing action, but ton of speed out of these cars here tonight. Over 210 miles an hour by the time they lift going into these corners, especially when you're in the draft. So once again, Kyle Munson now on the attack. He's up into second, looking for the race lead. Munson, though, doesn't have too much help as that top side's kind of formed on up a little bit better. Munson, though, half a car length advantage. He'll drive it in there deep, get clear, but will Noah Carter go to the outside here? Yes, indeed, he will. Who will help Carter? Which way does Stephen Hoffman go? Looks like Hoffman will pick the inside lane, so Kyle Munson this time at the stripe will lead at least one lap, if not some more. Now Stephen Hoffman to the inside of Munson. Munson hoping for some help from Noah Carter off of turn number 2. As Munson gets loose, he tags Stephen Hoffman. They go spinning down the backstretch. Everyone else able to avoid, but it looks like Noah Carter able to get through that with minimum damage. As we go to our 3rd yellow flag of the night, Kyle Munson looks like maybe got some help. Not sure, but that car definitely got out of sorts off of turn number 2. Just barely tagged Stephen Hoffman, whose car doesn't look too bad. So neither of these cars look too heavily damaged. So looks like both these guys will be able to continue tonight. But with another yellow flag, we'll head to a commercial break. On the other side, we'll pick up some green flag racing action from Talladega. We'll be right back.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we head back to the Talladega Superspeedway here under yellow flag. We got the 1 to go signal here from the flag stand as we get ready to rock and roll. Dave Payton wins the race off of pit road. He'll lead the field to green. Tanner Tallarico second. Noah Carter third. Justice Young has been in the top 5 for most of the night. Can he have a career best finish? Caleb Modulewski will line up fifth. Sixth goes to the 18 of Devin McDonald. 7th, Stephen Hoffman, even being in that most recent yellow. He's still out here, and that car looks pretty clean besides that left rear quarter panel. Hayden Swank will restart 8th. 9th will be Kyle Munson. Rounding out the top 10 is John DeMeester. Ron Hart 11th. Scott Negus looks like 12th, able to get that lap back. And 13th will be the 71 of Brett Hahn, able to get a new nose on that car. He's looking for a little bit of improvement. Same with Ron Hart. He gets a nose on his car as well. So the iRacing pace car will head down pit road. Nick Fleury currently sits a lap down. That's why he's down to the inside. But with heavy damage, he knows he can't really compete too much, as Dave Payton will wait to get on the loud pedal here. Wait a long time. Now the K&N 38 machine jumps on it, and we go back to green flag racing action here at Talladega. We jump on board with second place runner Tanner Tallarico here, and I say we do everyone's fan favorite here. Let's do a little turn 3, turn it up as these cars get up to song. As you guys can see, especially when these cars get single filed out, these cars are absolutely hauling the mail here. As we take a look at our 4th place runner, Caleb Moduleski here. We head up a little bit further up. Stephen Hoffman now trying to make the move at Justice Young. Hoffman with a big run as we are already closing in on the halfway point here tonight at Talladega. Currently Noah Carter's out in front, adding some more laps led to that 87 machine. Carter, of course, looking for his first ASRC win, as we, of course, coming into tonight had 6 different winners, or excuse me, 5 different winners. So will this be a 6th here tonight? Only repeat winner, I believe, is Hayden Swank. So as it looks like most of the rest of the field single filed on out here. So everyone trying to just click down the laps here tonight at Talladega. Just trying to burn that fuel and burn those laps on down as we get even closer to that halfway point. Once again, Stephen Hoffman, only car jumping out of line. Hoffman wants that race lead back. You gotta wonder, that left rear crinkle, is that making that car a little bit faster? Maybe getting that spoiler out of the air or whatnot, but looks like Justice Young once again able to hold that position from Hoffman. We complete 32 laps that time by. Now on lap 33. Noah Carter still out in front. One of the biggest movers here tonight. We've seen him all over the speedway. Right now, currently running MP number 7. That is Kyle Munson. Munson found his teammates, the no-name team of Hayden Swank, Devin McDonald, Munson, all in a line. Ron Hart right now having no other teammates in horsepower happening. So Hart by himself out here. Noah Carter, Justice Young, not in a team. First best team running at the moment. Stephen Hoffman with the Blue Oval gang, sending P number 3. Then Caleb Moduleski, I believe, with RPM Motorsports. Then we got to head all the way back to 10th to pick up REG Racing. Lead car in that gang right now is the 38 machine of Day Payne. Right behind him sits the D's Lugnuts boys of Tanner Tallarico, best runner at the moment. In team point standings, I believe the top 5 separated right around 120 points, and you know, it pays pretty much 175 to show up to a race with the car count we get right now. So sorry, not 175, more like 120. So if a team does miss a race, you know, it could blow the team points right open, as I believe the battle for the team points between first and second is about, I want to say, 8 points between them. So team racing, of course, very close here tonight in the Living Legends series and probably this rest of the season if I had to guess. So we'll keep an eye on that. But right now we get right to the halfway point here, this time by at the start finish line. We'll see cross flags for Noah Carter. Halfway down, halfway home here tonight at Talladega. Another time down the back stretch, the super stretch of Talladega Motor Speedway. Looks like still everyone just riding on around. I believe it's about 25, maybe, I don't think even quite 30 laps. I believe it's 25 at the most in the tank. So these drivers gonna have to start thinking about green flag pit stops. And if you know super speedways, it is very difficult to get down on pit road, but yeah, the old school brakes from the 87 cars, and it makes it that much more difficult, as these drivers gonna have to start thinking about that in their back of their minds. Dan McDonald running a little bit higher here, I noticed there through turn number 3. Ron Hart looks like he was able to pick by Kyle Munson. Now Munson has a run. He'll go to the outside of the 51 machine. And just as I say that as well, up front, Justice Young once again under fire from Stephen Hoffman. Hoffman still trying to get that spot. Looks like this time he will be able to complete the pass. So Stephen Hoffman goes up to P number 2 here and tries to find a way around one of the dominant cars here tonight, the 87 machine of Noah Carter. Stephen Hoffman now to the inside of Noah Carter. Carter will have the momentum off of turn number 4 though, and the help as Justice Young will go to the top side to help the 87 machine. So Hoffman all by himself, but with these cars starting to get 2 by 2, that is going to allow the rest of the field to close on up to these race leaders. As Caleb Modulewski now gets to pick here down the backstretch who he wants to work with, as Noah Carter able to get out by himself, and looks like Modulewski will go to the high side, but Stephen Hoffman will shut the door. Hoffman still hanging on to third. As the pack now tightens on up all the way back to the 51 machine of Ron Hart. So this race about to get interesting here. These guys know, especially with about 10 to go, I want to say, it's going to be go time, because we saw it at Daytona. If you get a yellow flag within about 4 to go, the race will end under yellow. No green, white, checkered. So these guys got to keep that in the back of mind. I know it's still, you know, over 30 laps to go, but just something they got to keep a little voice in their head to tell them, hey, we got this lap circled. It's time to turn it up by that point. As contact there a little bit between Devin McDonald and Ron Hart. That shoots the 51 machine up the speedway. That opens up the door for Kyle Munson and maybe even Scott Negus in the 55. Negus, of course, getting that wave round first car a lap down. And first car in line, so he'll be able to pass the pace car. So Negus now in the fight with the rest of the guys on the lead lap. Lap number 40 about halfway done as Ron Hart almost gets a piece of the wall. He skirted that thing all the way up to the top, as now we go to Stephen Hoffman trying to battle Noah Carter for the race lead. Let's jump on board with Justice Young and see what he is seeing. You can hear the drivers lifting on corner entry, as because they don't want to kill their right front. As you can hear them even lift off at turn number 2, you can tell these cars, the handling falling away here quickly. As you can see in the mirror, that white door panel of Caleb Modulewski to the inside of Justice Young, but Young will slam the door here in turn number 3. As it looks like the pack kind of breaking on apart here once again. Top 6 in their own little battle, and then the first side by side. Ron Hart looking to the inside of Kyle Munson, but nothing doing that time. Last time by, fastest car on the speedway was the number 1 machine of Tanner Tallarico. Tallarico in a lot of the draft here is kind of riding on around, clicking down the laps, but even with just riding on around, fastest lap about almost half a second quicker than the race leaders. So that shows you just how much of a wake these cars are creating, even just in a single file line. Ron Hart once again looking to the inside of the 18 machine. Hart trying to cut up through the field. One of the only cars that seems like they're kind of pushing and trying to get through the field, as Hart now up to 6th. He's going to not get some help from Dev McDonald. McDonald will go to his teammate and get back around the 51 machine. And you got to wonder, that damage to Ron Hart, how much is that hurting the race car? Noah Carter continues to lead the way here at Talladega. Stephen Hoffman right on the back bumper of the race leader. Then Justice Young still in third, looking for career best finish. Caleb Modulewski fourth. Hayden Swank up into fifth. And that rounds out the top five here on lap 44. Dave Payne, Tanner Tallarico kind of in their own little group, making sure that nothing really happens around there in case something does come of it. But so far, they're able to kind of just ride on around. And folks, we get very close now to green flag pit stops, as I believe there's only about 5 to 10 laps of fuel left in these race cars. Now, with the limited fuel in these race cars, pit stops are a little bit quicker than real life, let's say 4 tire stops. I think it's only 11 or 12 gallons to fill up these cars with the limited fuel. So we may see some strategy of guys either trying 2 tires, no tires, and trying to baby these tires that they're on, because the only real time we'll see 4 tire stops in this series is under yellow flag conditions, unless it could provide a big advantage if there's a lot of tire fall off at a track like Rockingham or North Wilkesboro. So the top 8 kind of all bunched up together. Then Dave Payne, Tanner Tallarico in their own zip code. Brett Hahn just by himself. Scott Negus and John Meester currently in their own little groups as well. As it looks like 55 machine almost gets a piece of the backstretch wall here. The last time by, we see 25 laps to go, so already getting into the closing stages here tonight at the Talladega Superspeedway. Justice Young says maybe it's go time before these pit stops, so Young able to get around Hoffman. Hoffman very slow through the travel. Not sure if he had to, I think he had to lift there to not push up into the 17, and he loses a lot of spots now. He loses a spot to Modulewski, maybe even the spot to Swank. As Swank has a run down the backstretch, get some help from Ron Hart. As, man, you got to wonder, does the 86 machine have a problem or something? He went from second to start this lap all the way now down to 7th. As the first car to come down pit road will probably be the 87 machine. Of course, he's leading the pack. He's using up the most fuel as we go around another lap. So it's got to be getting close here to those pit stops, as Noah Carter, I believe that time by, becomes the most laps led, and I don't think anyone could pass him unless they go lead the rest of this race, which I believe will be a pretty tall order. So with that lap led, Noah Carter goes over 20 laps led and will pick up those 5 extra bonus points. As, almost contacting the 3, Ron Hart pushing Hayden Swank out of the way. That could have been very bad, but somehow both those drivers, especially Hayden Swank, will be able to hang on to it as we get cars down on pit road. Noah Carter leads the way. Carter gets a piece of the grass. That might be a penalty, as Ron Hart, Justice Young, and Stephen Hoffman all come down on pit road. So big time implications to one of the fastest cars on track. We're going to keep an eye on him, see if he gets a hold penalty or not, as we don't see any tires going on that 86 machine. We'll see compared to the rest of the cars rolling out on the speedway. But right now, Caleb Modulewski will go on and take over the race lead, and it does look like the 87 machine having a penalty. Now this time by Modulewski comes down pit road. He'll lead the way over the rest of the pack, and here comes a big group of cars. It looks like most everyone able to get down onto pit road safely, as it looks like the rest of the cars. So we'll keep an eye here, make sure everyone gets to their box safely. As you see, Noah Carter still being held one car into the inside wall. Kyle Munson misses his stall and makes some contact with the inside wall, sliding through his box. Same with Caleb Modulewski. He slides through the box as we get some tires on a few of the cars here as we get ready to rock and roll. Hayden Swank gets rolling. Dave Payton, same with Tanner Tallarico, and it looks like most of the rest of the field will get rolling as we take a look at cars up to song here. Ron Hart, Stephen Hoffman side by side. These two got to be working together to make sure they can catch the pack, as they are already off of turn number 3 here tonight. So it looks like they will get some of them, but where do they cycle on out to? As they will, looks like, tag on to the back, maybe get around Devin McDonald, but Caleb Modulewski will probably be safe, as it looks like the leader's now picking up a little bit left traffic. Hayden Swank out there by himself here for the moment. About second advantage over Dave Payton with the rest of the pack. Well, I should say 3 cars forming up behind him here. But these guys got a lot of ground to make up, about 3.5 seconds back from the race leaders. So these guys know they have to work together here for these last 20 laps, as green flag pit stops throws in a wrench in a few people's plans. Biggest loser coming out of those pit stops, race leader when he did pit, Noah Carter, currently sits P number 13 as off of turn number 2. Ron Hart gets a piece of the wall there, it looks like. As this time by at the start finish line, when we get there, we will have inside of 20 laps to go. So these guys good till the rest of the way. The question is, how will they manage these tires, as we see 19 now left in the scoring tower here tonight. Hayden Swank picks up the race lead after pit stop, cycle on through. Dave Payne second, Tanner Tallarico third, Brett Hahn fourth, Caleb Modulewski fifth, sixth, and in leading the next pack, well, kind of in his own island at the moment, Devin McDonald seventh, Stephen Hoffman eighth, going to Ron Hart ninth. Justice Young didn't have as quick as a pit stop as he hoped. In top 10, Kyle Munson, and 11th, right behind him, Scott Negus. 12th is John DeMeester, and all the way back, about 3/4 of a track down, is Noah Carter. Make it more than that. Probably 25 car lengths to the race leaders, as Carter gets ever so closer to going one lap down. In that short amount of time, Stephen Hoffman and Devin McDonald have caught this lead pack, so that makes it now up to 7 cars in this lead pack once Stephen Hoffman gets on up there. So top 7 in this first pack here with 17 to go. Fuel not a issue anymore. Most of these cars can make it to the end, as Stephen Hoffman, first car to jump out of line. He's trying to go around the 18 machine of Devin McDonald, and he'll do that there in 1 and 2. Now looks to try and get around Caleb Modulewski, who's looking to the outside of Hahn, and will get a big run down the backstretch. Hoffman will tuck in the line and try and give him some help. So I think it's a little early for go time just yet, but getting ever so closer to the mark. I was trying to talk to some of these guys pre-race, and hopefully none of their crew chiefs or spotters are listening to the broadcast live, but I think I heard rumors from the RHU and D's Lugnut's camp that they are circling lap 10 to unleash it and let it go. So that's a rumor for their lap. We'll see when the rest of the field has it. But one car trying to get the race lead here now is Stephen Hoffman. Hoffman up to second and maybe looking for some more. Does he duck out of line here into turn number 3? He does not yet, as Hoffman will stay behind Hayden Swank as the field will, looks like, catch a little bit of lap traffic. That is the 2 machine of John DeMeester. So DeMeester already 1 lap down, maybe about to go 2. As this time by, we will see 15 to go. Of course, on lap 8, we saw the big one involve about half the field. Do we see one more, or do we get a green flag finish to a super speedway race? Race number 1 at Daytona, super speedway, finished under yellow flag. Will this have the same thing? We have 15 laps to figure it on out, as top 4 breaking away from the last 3 here. And after that, it's Justice Young finally getting some help from Kyle Munson. They sit in 8th and 9th. Scott Negus 10th. Ron Hart 11th at the moment. And then Noah Carter all the way back in 12th. And about maybe a quarter track, in front of the race leaders here. So guys like Young, Munson, Negus, Hart, Carter, all hoping for a yellow flag. Get back up to this pack, this top 7 though, hoping we stay green till the end. As we got a little bit of time, let's jump up to the stands and get a view from the top of the bleachers. It is the fan cam here tonight, taking a look at our lead pack here now with 13 laps to go. And you can see just how big this Talladega Super Speedway is. 2 2/3 of a mile in length. Of course, the largest track the Living Legends will go to, and NASCAR as well, as they head down the backstretch, the super stretch here, as of course the race leaders here all single filed on out. Not quite yet to turn them loose, but we're getting closer and closer to that mark. Hayden Swank still our race leader here tonight. As this time by, we will see 12 laps to go. As some guys up in front looking for their first win. That would be Stephen Hoffman, Caleb Modulewski, Dev McDonald, Dave Payton, all looking for their first. Tanner Tallarico, Brett Hahn looking for the second of the season. Hayden Swank looking for 3. Swank in the best spot right now, leading the way. As there's one kind of wild card in this first group, John DeMeester going 2 laps down was able to hang on to this lead lap pack. So DeMeester could maybe work with one of these lead lap cars and kind of throw a wrench in someone's plan and really push someone to a win and not have to worry about, him taking the win away. So John DeMeester here in the 2 could have very big implications if he can in fact stay with this group. You can see the 2 machine has some pretty decent right side damage. So as it looks like Dave Payton maybe here turning up the wick here on lap 11. Where did Payton come from? Payton with a huge run down the backstretch, goes from I think like 6th to the race lead in just a quarter of a track. So Dave Payton says it's go time here with 10 laps to go. Payton on the loud pedal, he's trying to get the race lead away from Hayden Swank. That time by at the stripe, Swank will get the advantage. Now Swank with the help from Hoffman and Modulewski. So Payton hoping for some help. Swank will come down and cover that inside line here off of turn number 2. Swank will drift up to the top. Now Modulewski will push that 38 machine Same with the 71 of Brett Hahn. So looks like 3 cars in a line, and look at Dave Payton. A lot of power in that K&N. He's got to have some pretty good K&N air filters in that car here tonight. Dave Payton out in the race lead here. So now Payton has to make the tough decision. Which line will he block? Will he go high? Will he go low? He just can't afford to get stuck in the middle. As Payton goes high, Payton will lead at the line with 9 laps to go. Stephen Hoffman trying to make it 3 wide. It looks like Modulewski will lift and let the 86 in. That leaves Hayden Swink by himself till the 1 car of Tanner Tallarico can get some help, as Tallarico almost gets a piece of the wall. 3 wide for a second off of turn number 2, as Devin McDonald keeps his foot in it, and he will pick up the back bumper of the 053 machine. So single file back out here once again. Dave Payton makes a push to take over this race lead if in fact we get a late race yellow. Now the question is, who is the next car to push the envelope? Tanner Tallarico has a lot of momentum through the tri-oval. He'll go to the top side of the 18 of Devin McDonald. So Tallarico with a lot of momentum here. What can Tallarico do as he'll come off at turn number 2? Got to be oh so careful to not get tight. He gets tight there, gets a piece of the wall, but luckily not too big of a hit, but that kills that momentum, as McDonald able to stay out in front just by a little bit, as Devin McDonald drives it in there deep, washes up almost to the middle line. That will hurt the momentum for these guys, and as these guys battle here at the back of this lead pack, that is allowing Dave Payton, Stephen Hoffman, Hayden Swink, and Caleb Modulewski to drive on away. You keep an eye on the first side-by-side. Still Deb McDonald and Tanner Tallarico side-by-side. Neither of them can figure out who wants to be out in front, as it looks like Deb McDonald able to get out in front of the 1. So now it's single file, and I would think it is go time if you got anything. As the front 2, Dave Payton, Stephen Hoffman, able to get about 3 to 4 car length advantage over Hayden Swink. So these front 2 checking on out. Is maybe Stephen Hoffman a favorite, maybe Dave Payton, as further on back it looks like they're leaving out to dry. Caleb Modulewski getting no help on the inside lane. Now Modulewski able to get some draft, but now Tanner Tallarico to the inside. And look at this, Stephen Hoffman going to the inside of Dave Payton for the race lead. This is where it gets wild. Oh, 1 car in the wall there. Caleb Modulewski, I think he just overcooked it there into 3, and that could easily happen here. So Modulewski sees the win slipping away from him, as here comes Tanner Tallarico now to the inside of Devin McDonald. We saw him stay side by side for a while with the reverse order, but man, McDonald has a lot of motor in that car. He's able to get almost side by side with Hayden Swink. So with them breaking up out in front, that allows the rest of this group to file on in, as now Stephen Hoffman trying to block both lanes. Looks like most cars down on the inside line. Here comes Tanner Tallarico. 3 wide we go here into turn number 3. Everyone for the most part able to keep it facing the right direction. That got hairy, folks. But here comes Tanner Tallarico. Tallarico to the outside of Hoffman. Brett Hahn will jump on there as well. He'll try and get to the right rear quarter panel. He will, as Tanner Tallarico leads that time by with 4 laps to go. Oh man, folks, this is where it gets dicey. What will go on here? As it looks like Stephen Hoffman shorter way around that inside line there. As contact further on back. Deb McDonald, Dave Payton get into it. That will cause them to lose a handful of time. Somehow, both those cars able to face in the right direction, keep the race rolling, but they lose about over half a second, maybe a full second to the cars in front. So Stephen Hoffman, Brett Hahn still side by side. Tanner Tallarico out in front. This time by, we see 3 laps to go, as Hayden Swank could be in the catbird seat, but we go 3 wide. Wow, that was a power move there, as Tanner Tallarico, getting no draft, was able to get passed by both those cars side by side. Now Tallarico finds himself side by side with Hayden Swank. Man, folks, this is where it gets wild. These guys know a yellow flag could come out at any time, and the field is frozen at that point, so everyone wants to be the race leader for as long as they can. They get single filed on out, but man, Dave Payne, Devin McDonald, big runs coming from the back. Will they have enough time to get there? This time by Brett Hahn will lead at the line with popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 more laps to go. Hayden Swank looks like will also jump to the top lane here, as Stephen Hoffman will get some help from Hahn here through the corner. Now Tallarico by himself up on the top lane. Looks like Stephen Hoffman will go to the inside of Hahn. Side by side for the race lead, but Dave Payton is back. Same could be with Dev McDonald here with a lap and a half to go. Now it all depends, where do these drivers go? Who do they work with? As big runs coming from the 38 and the 1. Side by side for the race lead. Hayden Swank will go down to the bottom. Swank contact with Hoffman. Swank having to get out of the throttle. He'll lose that run, as now it's anyone's race. We got 6 cars all under a blanket. White flag here, 1 more lap to go. Stephen Hoffman, Brett Hahn side by side for the race lead. Hayden Swank, Dev McDonald also side by side. McDonald in the wall. He'll lose the momentum. It looks like Tallarico will work with Hahn. What kind of a run can they get down the backstretch? Such a big run that they both clear Stephen Hoffman here into turn number 3. Oh man, folks, what will happen from here? It's going to be a race. Brett Hahn leads the way over Tanner Tallarico. Stephen Hoffman in third. Tallarico will go to the high side of Hahn. It's a drag race to the line. Who will get it? Stephen Hoffman splits the middle. Stephen Hoffman with the run. He picks up the win. As Stephen Hoffman, wow, what a race. Stephen Hoffman able to beat Tanner Tallarico by 2/1000ths of a second, as Stephen Hoffman picks up his first win of the Living Legend Series. Wow, that could have been anyone's race there, folks, as it goes Hoffman, Tallarico, Hahn, all under a blanket. Swank in 4th. Payton able to rebound to 5th. 6th going to Dev McDonald. 7th, Caleb Modulewski. 8th, Kyle Munson. 9th, Scott Negus. 10th, Ron Hart. 11th, Noah Carter. A heartbreak for that team. 12th will go to John DeMeester. 13th, Nick Fleury. 14th, Justice Young. 15th, Justin Callahan. 16th, Tim Rogers. And our pole sitter finishing dead last, Greg Wellen, will finish 17th. As we head to the front stretch here, we got to keep an eye on Stephen Hoffman. His first Living Legends win here tonight at Talladega from a barn burner. We're going to see Stephen Hoffman probably burn it on down for these crazy Alabama fans here tonight. As Stephen Hoffman will go down to the stripe here tonight, and he'll burn it on down for the fans. And what a job, man. That was a great drive by Stephen Hoffman, able to thread the needle and, of course, pick up his first win of the season, now making it 7 different winners. And oh man, he's going for it. He's going for the Kyle Larson burnout. As I tell you what, he walked it pretty good there, as Stephen Hoffman burning them down big time on the front stretch. You can tell he's pumped up about this win here tonight. As a great burnout from the 86 machine. And then that should do it here tonight from Talladega. We, of course, already ran over the final running order. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning on in. Tonight we have a special double header, as just in a few short moments. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break, but then we'll be back for race number 9. That, of course, from the Living Legend series from Charlotte Motor Speedway. So thanks again, everyone, tuning on in here live. Thanks again to all the replay viewers. Got to give a huge shout out to the drivers on track, putting on some great racing product. I've been Brett the Jet from Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to check out Turn 3 throughout the week, as we have a lot of great racing action, a lot of great broadcasters. And of course, got to thank all you guys for over 3,000 subscribers. That is awesome to see. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth from Talladega Super Speedway, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.
The American Sim Racing Club, home of the fastest growing fixed setup league on the server, the Dirt Pro Late Model Series, presented by Horsepower Happenings. Every Sunday night on the Turn 3 Racing Network, watch the server's best battle for more than 50 laps at some of the nation's most grueling tracks. From the Bristol Dirt to the Charlotte Dirt Track, Kern County to Fairbury, over 24 drivers a week put it on the line for a shot at over $600 in the championship points fund. Join us every Sunday night at 9:30 for the ASRC Dirt Pro Late Model Series on the Turn 3 Racing Network.